Yo, 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 yo. What it do? It is RB22, episode 56, Texas Ring of Fire. Harry, Jose, Dallas, Houston, Austin. How you doing, my boys? We'll start with Harry. Harry looks like he's ready for it. You're muted. He's not ready for it, actually.
I'm ready for it. Just warming up.
You and Jose getting pretty spicy on Twitter this week.
Oh, that's the usual for me. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
it's
Yeah,
another
for
it's
sure.
another week in the life,
Yep.
But I mean, Harry's gonna keep those glasses on today, bro. I don't think you want anybody to see your face after the debate today, brother. Keep them on, keep them on.
Keep him on, man.
we,
So,
we, we just
Austin.
we just got to figure where RB is on this. That's
Yeah,
that's
True.
the question:
we'll
is
get
where
there.
is RB?
So I've had actually a few people text me too and ask me where I'm at. They said I've been quiet. Been quiet.
Too
Surprisingly,
quiet.
yeah, you've been a little bit quiet. Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. So I've been low key lately. So I don't know. I don't really want to get into the fire, bro. Because last time I did it just backfired, and I don't know. I guess mentally I was like, man, like I want to say so many things, but the platform that we have here, that's not. I don't think that's what we should do. So just keep it soccer, keep it footy, keep it not going in any other route. But Austin, we're finally out of playoffs. It's mathematically impossible to make playoffs. I wouldn't have called it at the beginning of the season, which I didn't.
I want to interject because you didn't bring up mentally here. If yesterday was World Mental Health Day, something along those lines here. If you get the opportunity, go check out Norwich City's tweet, and I'm sure it's probably all over their socials about the mental health. And it was a pretty powerful video. I won't go into details of it because I don't want to ruin it. But and here's stateside 988 if you need assistance, need somebody to talk to, and I'm sure it goes for any of the three of us. If you need to talk to somebody, reach out to us, and we'll definitely make time to talk to you if you need to speak with somebody, just to kind of vent and stuff along those lines. With you bringing up the mental aspect of social media and stuff, but kudos to Norwich City. Like I said here, it was probably one of the most powerful uh, promos that you could say in regards to mental health. And of course, they did it with fans and a soccer theme based to it, obviously, since they're a soccer team or football team over there. But sorry to interrupt, but you brought up the mental aspect of it, and I did think that was a good moment to do it. Bring that up just for the fact that, I don't know if you caught it, but it it had people in tears just on how powerful it was.
I didn't see it, but I mean, I'll definitely go check it out. Um, Good point. Good point. Honestly, some people like us, man. Got to be tough, but you never know what someone's really going through. Houston, man, on fire. Got the U.S. Open Cup. We had Edson on last week. Appreciate him coming on. That was really great of him. Harry, you getting him on. Great stuff. Dallas, Dallas. What were you saying? Harry was 7 games with points now.
Seven
6 draws.
games with points, but only one win, 6 draws.
And go ahead and reel off who we played in that time, Harry.
Oof.
Go ahead. How many playoff teams we have in that little bounce there?
That's a good question. I mean,
It's
it's
a
fair.
great question. We haven't lost a match in 12. And
you didn't lose a match.
how many
since...
playoff teams did we play? Philadelphia, Columbus, Atlanta United, Seattle Sounders. I mean, how many teams are in playoffs that we had to take in that run? Houston didn't lose. And that's a skill all by itself in the playoffs.
All right,
I will say this as a
San
San Antonio FC fan. I'll say this as a San Antonio FC fan. Draws. There's varying degrees of draws. There's draws that feel like wins, and there's draws that feel like losses. So,
and playoffs don't. In playoffs, that none of that matters. Your goal could be to get to a PK shootout every game,
but there's no draws in the playoffs. But you could miss the playoffs because you didn't you gave up a late goal, and it could and when we go over the standings, it's that tight in the West where you hope Dallas doesn't come back and regret it. Now, we'll talk about Dallas here in a couple minutes, but
there's no way that's happening.
Have to worry about
there's no regret coming. Like I can tell you that right now, none. We're gonna be fine.
Austin,
it's just a matter of
12th
where.
place. Dallas, 9th place. Houston in 4th place. Houston in 4th place with 48 points. Dallas with 42 points. They still got 2 games to play, and Houston has 1 game to play. Dallas still has a chance to jump up the table some. So
they do, and we'll get to it. But just to kind of wrap up the Houston match, because this conversation can be over just like this match was. Houston got on the board early on Colorado in the 3rd minute with Nelson Quinones goal. Bassi got a second in the 9th minute. Nelson got his brace in the 28th minute. Baird put one. They were up 4-0 at half in the 41st minute. Colorado did get a goal in the 53rd minute by Cole Bassett, and then Artur scored in the 84th minute, which really put it out of the way. But it was a match where Houston came out on Colorado, which is what Dallas needs to do this weekend. Get on them early, and they just put them away. And Colorado's in last place for a reason. But yeah, for Houston, they're rolling. Technically, they could finish as high as I think 2nd or 3rd. For that here, realistically, I think they'll probably finish 4th where they're at here. Which, if you had going into the season, I don't even think. I know none of us would have had Houston that high up in the playoff rankings. I thought they would be fringe playoffs, kind of going in for that playoff seed or play-in game. But they're a solid 4th seed. I guess I shouldn't say solid because they could finish as low as 6th if they don't get a win this week. But I thought they blew this game out. It wasn't even a competitive game, and that's what you want to see from Houston. You want to get be the hot team heading into the playoffs. And
yeah, their style of play right now is really attractive. They look good. I mean, I called it a few months ago, and I could see it, and now it's just I think they could not win MLS Cup, but possibly make it to the conference final. I mean, why not? They have the style of play that can get you there, man. I mean, like you said, they took off early on Colorado. They do that in a playoff game. Every playoff game, get there. LAFC. I mean, that's probably who they or St. Louis City. Who knows at this point? But
yeah.
I think it's fair to include them right now in that conference final.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I like Houston more than I like teams like St. Louis City SC right now. 100%. I mean, they walk away with that top spot in the West, but I've never felt super confident in expansion teams first time in the playoffs trying to create a run. I could just see them choking. And I could see a team like Houston that's coming off of a trophy, right, off a U.S. Open Cup win, riding some pretty high momentum. And like Harry said, considering where they started this season, I mean, I had them probably on that fringe line as well. But bro, I mean, people don't remember this team was only scoring on penalty kicks. They were only getting penalty kicks. That was their entire offense. It almost seemed like it was a game plan.
For like 2 weeks,
yeah,
it was long.
It was longer.
It was almost closer to a month. Yeah,
it was like the opening month, and we just didn't know where the offense was going to come from. And little did we know it was just them taking the time it needed for the system to work. But it's working now. So I think what we really want to see, if I'm a Houston fan, bro, get out there, support. I mean, when's the last time you guys really had a threatening team in playoffs? I think even the last time Houston was in playoffs, it didn't feel like this type of momentum. So it's different this season. I think if they want to see more than just a team that's clinched a playoff spot, they need to get out there and support.
100%, man. So let's see, 4th place. Who would that put them up against? That would put them.
Got your. Hold on one second. I got it right here.
7th or no, 5th.
5th. It would be 5th.
5th.
So they would go right now against Vancouver. But if you look, they're 48 points. You got Real Salt Lake, Vancouver. Even the Sounders, they can move up to 3rd, I think, depending on who the Sounders play for that here. But to me, I think, for Houston to get a home playoff match, I think would be huge. And I think it would be a great tool to kind of help build for next year. You got the Open Cup win. You're in hosting at least one playoff game. And we know Houston shows up for, well, traditionally they show up for playoffs for that here. The Astros went from, poor attendance to, filling out Minute Maid Park or whatever its name is now. Rockets, same thing. Playoffs, they'll typically sell out. So I would expect a great crowd down, for the Dynamo come playoff time for that here, because you're starting to hear a little bit more buzz about them than you have in obviously recent years.
Nah, for sure. I mean, you have to sell the stadium out, right, for the playoff game.
You would think so. I mean, but I'm not, overestimating the Houston fan base. In all honesty, bro, I was surprised at the turnout at the U.S. Open Cup final. If you guys were watching it at home, right, it was
the traveling fans.
The traveling fans, like just the amount of the audacity of that one fucking guy who's wearing a messy Houston shirt. But outside of that, I
thought that was your brother, man.
It's kind of crazy, bro. I would never have the audacity to put Messi on an FC Dallas jersey. There's no way. That's almost disrespectful. But I think no, they traveled pretty well. It seems pretty clear, for those who are familiar with the situation, the sentiment between the fans and the front office down there in Houston. But I think if they can get past that a little bit and just really, rally behind this team, you just don't know what could happen, right? You don't know what kind of run a team that's firing on all cylinders like this can really make. So we'll see what happens.
And I had a good friend that went over to Houston when they played FC Dallas and took in the environment. And he's a Dynamo fan, when he's not an SAFC fan. And he's like, the atmosphere this year is totally different. There's more of a buzz. I have to, give my apologies to was it Ben Olsen is their coach?
Yeah.
Ben Olsen, because I thought it was a poor hire for that here, and
a lot of people did. You weren't alone. You weren't alone in that. That was a lot of people.
He's shut me up. He's proven to be a good hire, at least for the short term, and he's put together a pretty good plan, and they have a foundation, and it, to me, the biggest thing for them is they have an identity now, which I think was the biggest issue that we're missing. And I think possibly, and I'm sure Jose will, this will probably be one of Jose's points is, keeping Wolff as it keeps that identity for Austin, for that here where Houston, they struggled so long to find a identity, which it seems like they have under Olsen.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people counted this guy out at the beginning of the season. Ache said that he was done. Coco Carrasquilla, even Tim Parker over at St. Louis City, man, them letting him go, them not, banking on him. I mean, look at him. Some people have him as defender of the year. So Houston, man, they got a squad. I like I said, I think they can make it to the conference final. Just that momentum's going their way. They got Portland in 2 weeks, October 21st, decision day. I mean, they don't really have to worry about decision day rather than a place on the playoff table.
I disagree, because getting that home playoff match, especially, it's huge.
If Dallas,
I guess
wins
you're
out,
right.
It's a best of 3, right?
It's 2 games.
It's a best of 3, right?
Yeah, it's a best
so
of
you
3.
play. It's a home game regardless.
But
here's what I'll say too: if they don't get it, right, which is a possibility. If they don't get it, I still think, bro, if they could just be more courageous on the road. It's not that they were terrible on the road to start the season. It's gotten more 50-50 as time has gone on, and the record's still really bad if you look at the away record. But a lot of that was from the first half of the season. I think that if they could just find a way to be comfortable on the road, just be comfortable, right? Play with a little more courage and really just try to, as good as that team is, try to open things up in their favor. Bro, if they can figure out road wins in playoffs, this Houston Dynamo team is lethal. Like, I wouldn't want to play them. Like, if they can figure out how to play on the road, man, this is a strong playoff team.
And it's coming. So if it's not this season, I don't see anything changing too much next season. So they got the young roster.
Some of their best players.
Only player they could lose is Coco, but I mean, Ache stays.
But it's not like Coco's perfect, right? I mean, he does so much for that team, but equally, his decision making sometimes is like questionable. And I think that they could get a good fee to reinforce the center midfield position, even in advance of like Ache moving on, right? Because that will happen. He's older. So get a couple really solid young players or a few young players with that money to back those players up. It's under Ben Olsen, this could be a really strong team for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Portland in 2 weeks. We'll preview that next episode. Well, I guess we'll get into the Austin. So Austin
event.
FC, man, eliminated from playoffs officially. Mathematically on the table, they can't make it. They have 38 points. Dallas has 42 in ninth place, and they only have one more game to play.
Before we get further, RB, really quick, did you feel as an Austin FC fan? You know what? I'll throw Harry in there too. Harry, you're an Austin FC fan, so like when this last match kind of came up, right, against LAFC, like I don't know, RB, did you really feel like you guys had a shot to make playoffs? Like you realistically thought you guys were going to get some kind of result from that game?
Hey, well, I mean, we're at home. They already made playoffs. They already qualified. They may not come with the strongest lineup. Okay, so this was pre-lineup. You
had some faith. You had some faith.
I'm thinking, hey, if we come out, we play our best game against an LAB team, which is another team's A team.
Yeah,
we may have a shot at this. It didn't happen. Boanga on the lineup. Boanga playing against you. The guy's not gonna take off the pedal at all. He's a beast. He's one of my son's favorite players. So you just got to tip your hat to the people like that, man. And them coming into your stadium, you try to be loud. You try to do what you can. But when it's 4-0 and the fans, like me, dude, so I was lucky enough to have some seats in the north end. So the south end is where all the fans are at. Man, after that fourth goal, like you could just feel it in the stadium. It's like just sucked out of it, man. And just start seeing people filtering out. It's
once it was 4-0,
but it wasn't even the normal crowd either, though. The crowd going in was lesser than normal.
They said it was sellout. They said it was sellout.
Yeah,
they always say it's a sellout. They always say
this Saturday was. This Saturday was. I was surprised. We went Wednesday to the DC game also. And that one was
that one was poorly attended.
Yeah, that was not a sellout at all.
But DC was were they already mathematically eliminated, or was it that game that they got eliminated?
That game.
It was that game. I think they already kind of knew it was the last game of the season for them, literally. Whereas everybody else still has matches to play. And dude, I feel like Rooney announced his departure so quickly after that maybe the writing was on the wall already. I don't know. It's not a big game. Yeah. It's like before the weather delay for Dallas and Colorado, there was hardly anybody at that game. Like even before the weather delay, like I saw what the crowd looked like. It gets those teams, man. It's just tough,
Yeah. So this happens. We get eliminated out of playoffs. Previous game when we won 3-0 press conference, Josh Wolff. I don't know if y'all watched that, but he's pretty arrogant in the press conference. Like I won. Like, come on. What you expect? I'm Josh Wolff. Like, I'm gonna win. Bro, it's been 80 days, almost 80 days since you won a game. Like, you don't come in here like that, like you haven't shit the bed at all. You have, and you've done it time and time again. So now the woof out is pretty bad right now, right?
Yeah.
Rodolfo Borrell comes out, pretty much backs Josh Wolff again.
Well, not backs. He guaranteed he's coming back.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's
fully
happening.
Fully backs the manager. Yeah.
There's no special conversations going on about Josh's job. Like it's already like that's not even a conversation right now. Like why would we talk about that? He's here for the long run. And that's kind of the way they made it seem, right? So, Harry, I know you are Wolff out. Jose.
I just think it's the wrong decision. Well, so I think it's the wrong decision. But yeah, go ahead.
So Harry's Wolff out, and he has his reasons. Jose has his reasons too. We're gonna do this for maybe like 5 minutes, guys. But I want it. Okay, we'll start with Harry. Harry's point on why Wolff should go. We want to hear from Harry.
So let's look at results on the pitch, because that's what matters, right? Results on the pitch.
Yes.
If you're building a team, if you're building a club, there's more to it than that.
But for the manager, that's his job, is to get results, right? Because he's not the technical director. He's not in charge of the academy, that type of stuff. And Burrell kind of mentioned that they're going to be beefing that up. But let's look at non-MLS. Open Cup 2022, lost to San Antonio. I know Austin fans like to blow that off, but that's a big X. It is. It gives San Antonio bragging rights over Austin. And until you guys beat us, we still have that. This year, Open Cup, you got a little bit better. You beat New Mexico at home, but then you lost to the Fire I believe it was on the road, 2-0. I believe most people at that time thought the Fire match.
Yeah, it was at home.
Oh, is that home too? Okay. I was trying to give you credit going on the road and losing, but you lost to the Fire, which, I think most would think Austin's still the better team, especially at that time. We thought Austin FC was the better team. And then CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, at home, yeah.
It turns out they're both exactly in the same place, but at the time, I guess we thought they were a little better.
At the time. CONCACAF Champions League. I think it's a historic, or I put an epic upset with Violet upsetting Austin FC. Nobody had that on any bingo card. Even most anti-Austin FC fans wouldn't have seen that coming. And that one you could put squarely on Coach Wolff. Just how and I think you mentioned this, RB, where he disrespected the opponent in that first match. And he dug too deep of a hole. Leagues Cup, another big thing here. 0-2 in what most people said was lesser competition with Juarez and Mazatlan from Liga MX. And both of those were at Q2 Stadium. And both of those teams got blown out when it advanced to the knockout stage. So when you look at those there, which, you can argue, does it matter? Does it not matter? It's still competition that matters. MLS, his record, prior to this last week was 33, 23, and 44, 147 goals scored, 166 goals allowed. Austin, you had the 2022 run, which was great, but even if you look at that, the offense was scoring. The defense still gave up 49 goals for that here. But I think what a lot of people, and this is where Jose kind of keeps highlighting, hey, the playoff run. If you look at how Austin FC ended that season, in August, there were 3 wins, 3 draws, and 5 losses. So they went into the playoffs struggling a little bit. Now they did get the PK win against Real Salt Lake. They did beat Dallas, which is a big win. And, they lost to, I think, the best team in the league last year in LAFC. A big thing for me, and Jose talks about this, is player development. If you say, I put a little bit on this here, and that's with Kip Keller. Last year, they should have loaned him out. You could argue CJ Fadri this year should have been loaned out to a USL championship player to get minutes to be able to prepare for the next season. And just, and RB can kind of talk to more of the locker room stuff. That's more subjective because none of us really know the locker room stuff for that here. And just to kind of sum it up, and this is where I'm going to tie it into kind of more, kind of give Jose his opening here. I think with the announcement from, was it Rodolfo? Rodolfo. He's beefing up Austin FC. The scout team, going to 5. I don't know how many you guys had before. He's bringing in more assets to be able to assist Coach Wolff. So you can look at that both positive and negative. Did Coach Wolff have the proper tools? But to me, how do you fix the substitution patterns? The in-game management that a lot of fans have issues with. How do you fix, just that talent gap? And I'm going to say this here, and this is just kind of my thing after kind of thinking about it, following kind of social media on the, on the interview with Rodolfo. This isn't going to be a quick fix for Austin. It's going to take a couple of windows to do it, and more importantly, this upcoming window, they may get rid of players, but they're probably not going to be bringing in that star player. So to me, it kind of makes sense, and kind of hindsight thinking about this, you keep Wolff on right now just for that consistency, and I think this is probably where Jose is going to come into a little bit here. You keep him for the consistency, but knowing that if he doesn't develop like I don't think he's going to, I think he's kind of stuck in his way. It opens up that avenue, and then the last thing here. And this is kind of, bringing in the Texas Ring of Fire here. The last great young talent that ownership gave a chance to and gave multiple chances to, Matt Jordan out of Houston. And we saw how well that worked out. So hopefully Coach Wolff, can turn it around. Matt Jordan didn't. And we will see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So that's a Wolff out, I guess, take there. In hindsight, still kind of Wolff in. So, I mean,
well, no, it's one where if you listen to what he's saying,
hey, hold on.
And if you look at it here, to me, it makes sense. It's like, why are you gonna? And I've seen so many teams do this where they bring in a coach that's in an unwinnable situation, because I think heading into the season, I don't think we all thought about the Austin roster being so thin, because it has some talent, but it's very thin.
And they didn't realize that because they overperformed in 2022. That's why they didn't realize it, right? And so, when you overperform, and you mentioned, Harry mentioned the and first off, bro, before we call me as the Wolff out crowd or Wolff in crowd representative, I'm going to say that personally, I don't really give a shit. One way or the other, don't care. If Austin keeps losing, great. If they win, don't care.
That's me too as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to preface it with that. But with that said,
stop the cap.
Harry's 100% an Austin FC fan. 100% Austin FC fan. Okay, so my biggest argument for Wolff in, Harry just mentioned one of the points that, I think anybody who thinks about this logically will harp on consistency. Who's going to come into this situation and win right now? Nobody. And even if you thought there's a chance somebody could, what does that candidate shortlist realistically look like? Like, I for me, a problem is a problem unless you have a solution. RB, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. I think you have to steady the ship first. Rodo didn't say Wolff's going to remain. We're going to extend his contract and we're going to keep him here for another while longer. He's going to remain the manager because there really isn't a better person that understands Austin FC, that understands right now how the system plays internally. They're going to keep at least a good chunk of the players they have now. They'll get rid of Deadwood 100% in the winter, but they'll still have a base to build around. He knows it. He knows it better than any other manager that you'll have to pay to go out and get, that may or may not have been just recently fired, that may or may not have come from a great situation, and hope that they do better than Wolff did. I don't. The one point I'll refute from Harry's side is I don't like to. I know I harped on this a lot on Twitter about the overperformance of 2022 and how fans should think about that when they realize how difficult it is for a club to be successful quickly upon launching as a club. I harp on that. It's one of my points, but I will say that, like, that playoff run it should have been the first sign that Austin FC needed to reinforce. It just really should have. Like, that overperformance. What do they always say for top clubs, right? You don't reinforce your roster when you have to, right? It's not a reactive situation. It's proactive. You reinforce when you're on top. When you're on top, you start bringing in more pieces to reinforce those guys because, their legs might be gone the next season, especially for the aging ones, right? Like, when you're on top, second in the West, whatever it may be, You spend some money, bring some depth in, and reinforce every position because you may not have what you had last season. Austin didn't do that, right? And so for me, that's not on Wolff. That's a sporting director's type of responsibility. Rodo hadn't been in yet. Reyna was going through the situation that he was going through, and I don't want to pretend to understand how he could have made good decisions at that point. There's so much of this that's out of Wolff's control. Now, I'm not going to stick up for him when it comes to in-game management. I think he's not as bad as some of the fans make it seem. Like, his substitution patterns could also be what they are because of the personnel he has to work with. And a lot of fans don't realize that, right? You're not going to treat Giassi Zardes the way you would treat a CJ Fodry, right? Like, you know, when you think about their pace, their energy, how many minutes can they actively contribute to the match? It's just so many different situations and scenarios. So I think in-game management also can improve. I don't want to pretend that Josh Wolff is right now as good as he's ever going to be as a manager. That would be naive. That would be a naive thought to have. Like people don't improve at their job. They 100% improve. Now, maybe fans don't want to be the fan base of a club where a manager's trying to get better at his job. But at the end of the day, Rodo has his CV and his resume say everything. I don't know how you could question a man who's been at Barcelona, been at Manchester City, has seen world-class coaching up front, close and personal, and made the decision, right, to back Josh Wolff for now. I don't know how anybody else can question that. To me, that's the equivalent of the parents at club soccer games who pretend they know more than the coach. It blows my mind. Like I don't understand how fans can actively do that. Hear what Rodo has to say and be like, nope, he's wrong. It needs to be Wolff out. You know, they're put in those positions for a reason. And frankly, you just have to assume he knows significantly more than you do. So any fan who's Wolff out, I would love to have the debate. I think, you know, for me, it creates more issues than it fixes right now.
I think y'all bring up some really, really great points. You know, there is a lot of room for improvement with Josh Wolff, and you know, there's no denying it. But who's to say that he can't get better? Who's to say that he hasn't hit where he's going to get? Like you say, the in-game management could definitely use some help. So if he's willing to, you know, if Burrell is talking to him and telling him, because we don't know what kind of discussions they're having, Burrell's talking to him and he's seeing that Josh is like receiving that really well, and he's seeing it in his games now and stuff like that. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So Josh is here. I mean, I'm with whatever, you know, at this point. So he's here to stay till 2025. I believe that's when his contract is up. Let's see what is going to happen. Burrell said 4 to 5 players in this window that's coming up. So we'll see what players come in then. We do know that Fodry is going to be in the plans for next year. Kip Keller, he has to be. Is Danny Pereira in his plans now? We've seen him put him on the bench these past 2 games. So, I mean, what's going on there? Danny Pereira, I want to ask you guys, because, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on the Wolff thing. But Danny Pereira, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that he's a player that we can go without, or is he influential going forward with this developmental kind of like a testimonial inside the club that's been there since the beginning?
So I got one final comment on the Wolff thing here. Pay attention to who Rodolfo brings in, especially if it's on the coaching staff wise, because he made a comment here. You don't know how many coaches are interested in coming in here, as well as players you would not believe. And I got that from We Are Austin, We Are Austin TV on the from the Austin FC press conference from that here. So to me, that comment stood out to where, you know, they talked about addressing the staff. To me, it'll be interesting to see if they bring more support staff for Coach Wolff along those lines to be able to kind of help, you know, maybe a more senior coach that can kind of help guide him and kind of help, you know, improve the in-game stuff along those lines here. But also, if they do decide to make a decision next year to go a different direction, that they have kind of a caretaker for the rest of the season. So I will say that Wolff is going to be back, but to me, pay attention on who they actually bring in. As far as the players,
It's got to be younger. It's got to be younger. Just overall, it's got to be younger. Invest in Austin FC too.
Well, that's really... why I bring up Danny Pereira, because he's a 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we should invest in the kid. I mean, I think he wants a bag. I mean, he's getting paid $100K right now.
What can you get for him? What can you get for him?
I mean, you could probably get $1 million or over $1 million for him right now.
And what could you buy with that?
And see, you bring up good points there. That's thinking that way. What can you get for him? But then going in the long run, is he worth $300,000 for 2 years? Or
but does Coach Wolff value him though? That's the question, and that's going to be something that I think that we may not have that discussion. We'll probably have the discussion, but that's going to be a discussion that Rodolfo and Coach Wolff and the staff kind of have when they go through these postseason things here. And it's also going to depend on and Jose kind of hinted on this, what's the value that they can get from him? Because he's had some success, but obviously for whatever reason, Coach Wolff hasn't seen it, doesn't like it, wants something different. Who knows? I think he'll be back. The question is what role will he be back in? Because I do think that
his contract's done at the end of the season.
This year or next year?
This year.
Well.
Yeah, I mean,
then it's going to come down to money.
Yeah, it's come down to money, and I do think that the conversations around the player pool are being had right now. I truly believe that. I think and I think Rodo will have more of a deciding pool than Wolff will. I think that's probably the agreement that was reached. I imagine as soon as they were eliminated, they had some of these conversations around, hey, we want to keep you, but this is how the club will work when you think about personnel, players, staff. This is how we want this ship to run, and we'd love for you to be at the helm of it all, but it has to work this way. We have to have this kind of say over talent, because this is the type of team we want to build. And I think that if that ended up being the case, I think it should be, because in my opinion, if you are going to get rid of Wolff at some point, you want to know what type of manager you need to go after Wolff, right? And the only way to do that is to know what type of team you have. So I think Rodo will prioritize players over the players he wants this team to look like versus what Wolff may want. And if Danny Pereira just ends up being someone that they decide not to keep, if it were me, to be honest, I'd give a small extension and try to sell him. That's what I would do. I think he's one of the few players where you probably could get a positive net return on him, and use that money to reinforce the squad with some youth that, again, I said it before in the Wolff argument, to become a club, not a team, right? And that's one of the most famous things I think Sir Alex Ferguson ever said. Really, was just when he started recruitment throughout Manchester, it wasn't to make a team. You could go out, spend a bunch of money, and build superstars and build a team. He wanted to build a club that had a strong foundation built around youth, and you sprinkle in talent where you can. And that's what I think Rodo wants to build. That's all he's ever known at Barcelona and Manchester City. I think that's what he wants to build. And for now, Wolff's at the helm, but I think they're going to have a lot of say over the players they bring in.
I think Rodo is trying to build that foundation, and whatever that foundation that he's looking at. And that's why, and that's why to me, after I don't agree with the decision just based on Wolff's record, but I think to me he's kind of a sacrificial coach right now. He's here.
What is Wolff win percentage? What is Wolff's win percentage?
39%, something like that.
I will say horrible. This. It's not crazy bad. I will say this: Peter Vermees and Greg Vanney are still coaching in the league.
Well,
okay, so I think from a record standpoint, we can kind of say, and they have significantly longer track records of being that bad, right? Like 40% win.
Well, we have Berhalter as the coach of the U.S. men's national team.
Exactly.
Similar record.
Struggled at the crew. It's. I think records, especially in MLS, it's such a volatile league where results go so up and down. I think
right.
It says something. I care more about. If I'm a fan, I care more about in-game management. Like, I want to see him improve. I really want to see him improve.
And this is where I want to turn it around to you, because we've kind of talked about from an outsider's perspective, RB, and I know you kind of haven't touched it yet. Fan base is pretty upset that he's coming back. I work with somebody that actually works in the Austin FC ticket office, and he's like, it didn't go over well. That Wolff was coming back here. So you as a fan, and I don't know if you're a season ticket member, but you go to several games here. Is it just kind of that? Hey, it's been a tough season for Austin. I think everybody would agree it's been a tough season for Austin. Nobody expected that. But when things kind of calm down, you start getting player announcements. You start getting excited about the new season. How do you think that's going to, because obviously the question isn't going to be Wolff in or Wolff out at that point, or hopefully it's not. It's going to be how good can this team be next year? So kind of your expectations with what Rodolfo kind of set as kind of that baseline here, where you're bringing in more staff, you're bringing the consistency back. He did say they are going to cut some of the players here. From a fan perspective, from you, what would you like to see, or how do you see this kind of playing out, for this next year, knowing that the winter window really isn't going to be the window where they make the mark? That's probably going to be next summer.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm more like, I got talking to you guys on the show and all that. I've really been more adaptive to everything that's going on in MLS and all that. I usually go watch European soccer and all that. So seeing managers get fired for almost nothing,
5 games,
that's kind of what that's kind of what you get accustomed to.
Yeah.
So I think I'm fine with the decision that's made. I guess the metaphor with the parents trying to know that more than the coach. That's kind of how I could see the fans thinking they know more than Borrell. And if Borrell wants to keep the guy, then we have to back him. I mean, the guy is a genius. Pep Guardiola wanted him. I mean, he coached some of the greats, so the guy knows what he's talking about. He's been a coach himself for so many years, so he knows what he's talking about. I think, like I said, but we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And if he's being really receptive to what Borrell is bringing to the table, then maybe he's like, this could be my guy, and I can mentor him into one of the greats in MLS. I mean, who knows? I even said it before this season, but I said Josh was going to be the next Bruce Arena. Okay. So,
well, yeah, that was pre-scandal, right? That was like,
yes. Yeah, right. That too. That
was pre-scandal. So we got to be careful with that.
Right. And so I personally, I've always liked Wolff. Just the in-game management. Some of those things are kind of what just roll over. And I'm just like, oh man, like, is this guy really the man for the job? Is he going to get it done for us? Can he get it done for us? But hey, we move forward. I'm fine with it. We'll see what moves get made in the offseason. Who we let go, like you said, who we let go, who we keep, who's in the plans. Is Rigoni gone? Is Driussi gone? Who's gonna be gone? Who's gonna stay? So we all know that Owen Wolff is gonna be here next season. So that's not a question.
That's true. I personally, man, this might be.
You don't think he could get moved over to Europe?
It's
possible. Anything's possible.
Because I know
if he was smart, he would go.
I know we give him he catches a lot of grief just because he's his son, but he had a decent year. I think if you really look at it,
he's not a bad player. He's not a bad player.
He had a decent year, and I know he catches grief, and I know RB's kind of said, hey, why is he playing and not the other kids? And that's really what the issue is it's just that consistency. And that's where, to me, like I said here, one of the things that I hope Austin does is, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but Jose's already mentioned this, is to get younger. You shouldn't have Will Brilliant and Zardes as your backup strikers, or along those
Maxi.
I mean,
Maxi, but Zardes should not have been signed. Like, that should not have been the splash striker that you guys went for in the winter.
You guys could have went. You guys could have got Sam Adeniran, who's performing well, in St. Louis City. Young here, you would have attracted some of the San Antonio fan base, which is, to me, I think, I'm still waiting for Austin FC to kind of do that, where they bring in somebody that's done well in San Antonio. Maybe not start, but it's on that fringe 18 to where you can start to attract some of the San Antonio fan base for there. To me, that's where I think that I'm hoping Roto goes with is getting some of that young talent, that can make a difference, especially in the heat in the summer, where those fresh legs that can go all day make a huge difference compared to veteran players.
Matt Hedges, going out and getting Matt Hedges, right? Like from Toronto, like that move again. It was just, it kind of, I know Wolff sometimes, and maybe that's what it was, right? A young manager who's leaning on veterans and experienced players to carry him through matches, right? At least a little bit. You sprinkle in some
Burrell brought that up. Burrell brought that up, saying that, hey, some of the staff have either coached, they've been around these players, XYZ. So they were like, hey, let's get this person, Cascante, let's get Ethan Finlay, let's get Zardes, let's get all these people that we kind of know what they can bring to the table instead of just really scouting,
but also like having and this is I still think this is probably more of a job for Roto. I think putting an identity on the pitch in place. Like, what type of football are you going to play? Realistically,
well, we had the identity last season, and it got lost.
No, I would say you didn't have an identity last season.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Well, even what type of ball did you play? What type of ball did you play?
What do you mean?
Like what? Like I can tell you right now, SC Dallas plays slow possession out of the back, and we hit the teams with counters on the break. That's our game plan usually, right? So, what type of ball did you guys play last season?
We would play out the back also through the middle.
Were you guys a possession heavy team? Rely on counter attacks?
Yeah, super heavy possession.
Okay. And I would say kind of. You also leaking in defense last season too.
But that was lost as soon as Rigoni got here. That was lost. And now we're trying to do the crossing. And like you say, the identities, like I couldn't even tell you what we do anymore. I couldn't.
I mean, you can be a possession-based team with crosses. You just have to have someone who can finish. And I remember us all watching Zardes not being able to get on the end of these crosses, right? And how much different would the season have been had he got on the end of those crosses? Because it wasn't Zardes, it was a young forward who was hungry and knew how to find the ball in the box, right? There's plenty of successful teams who can play that way. I think you guys had the personnel to do it. It was just, to me, you lacked a little bit of the on-pitch identity. To me, that comes from the sporting director a little bit, right? It's the manager's job to take the players the director gives him with the system that they know that they need to be running and make it all work, put the pieces together. And I think he kind of was just relying too much on individual player experience to help get matches over the line. And so, young manager symptoms, but I still think that like it just. If I was building a club, if I was the owner right now of Austin in this situation, I think the last thing I would do is fire the manager to cause this shitstorm. Like I know exactly what will happen, right? Like it's the fans are going to be unsettled. How many days are going to be counted until we have a new manager in place? Who's that new manager going to be? Where were they last? Like how much is the media going to pick apart what their track record looked like? I mean, you cause a media shitstorm just by going out and getting someone that may or may not be Austin FC material, right? So it was the more stable option, I think, to keep Wolff.
Yeah. So,
and
what else?
To me, to kind of wrap up on something positive for Austin, Austin FC 2 is in the semifinals. They'll play Colorado Rapids 2.
Look at that, man.
Dick's Sporting Park at
you have a funnel.
October 15th.
Well, if you watch them, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The playing through the back, playing through the middle, those wingers playing through to the middle, all that kind of stuff, man. And it's those triangle tiki-taka type soccer, possession type soccer, But
yeah, there's got to be a pipeline between the two, right? And so if Roto can successfully do that, give the youth some chances, just some chances. It could be just cup matches to start, right? There's going to be plenty of tournament opportunities, with the addition of Leagues Cup now. So, yeah, I mean, just create some of those for the youth talent, give them something more to strive for. And what you're going to start seeing are just some gems that pop up out of nowhere. You're like, dude, how the hell did we land this player? It's because you're giving youth real opportunities.
Yeah, truth, man. Yeah, we have some good players, so good luck to them boys this Sunday. Colorado Rapids too. We have, I believe, we have not beat them this season, so we're 0-2.
0-3, but they've been
0-3.
all 0-2, and then one PK loss, 9-8 in in Colorado. So it'll be interesting, but Colorado Rapids, despite being a last place team, supposedly have done pretty well. Well, not supposedly, they've done pretty well in the MLS Next Pro semifinal. On the east side, you got New England Revolution 2 hosting at Gillette Stadium at 4 p.m. the Columbus Crew. For that here, Columbus Crew is probably the actual favorite on that, the 3-1 for there. And they did beat them May 20, or they beat them twice this, or no, they split this season 3-0 and then 2-0. So that one will be interesting, kind of see how that plays out. And then, of course, the two winners will play in the final. I don't think that's been announced as of yet. So there is something positive in the pipeline for Austin FC, even if it's MLS Next Pro. But we're talking about the youth, and the youth is showing up for that here. So, Jose, you get
Austin,
a match.
Yeah, we'll preview that San Jose match next week. But you guys got San Jose this week, right?
No, they got the Rapids.
We got Rapids.
Makeup of the Rapids.
We just
oh, you just played San Jose.
Yeah. And it was a game where
1-1?
1-1. They deserve their goal. No, I didn't. They deserved their goal. I think I watched it all the way through. It was a good game. Dallas dominated the second half. I think it was one of those games where I don't say came out slow, right? But we gave them their opportunity and they took it. But I think from the second half forward, man, it was a shame we couldn't go out there and win it. And that's, I mean, if things don't go as well as I'd like for them to go against the Galaxy and the Rapids to close out the regular season, we could be seeing San Jose in that wild card, that one game play-in, right? So that would be interesting. I'm not scared of San Jose. I think we should have won that game. But you just never know, right? In a one-game playoff, who's going to, find what it takes to get through. So, but the game, I mean, I'm not terribly disappointed. I think we played pretty well overall.
So my question for you, because this is a international break this weekend here, how, I'm assuming Ferreira's gone, right, for that here. So, how is FC Dallas looking to face against the Rapids? And I know the Rapids aren't a all-star lineup by any means, but they've still got some quality. The last couple of weeks outside of the Houston match, they've kind of shown a little bit of fight, especially for the Rapids. But any concern where this is kind of a makeup game?
Was it just Ferreira?
Was
it only Ferreira or Ariola? Was anybody else called up?
That's missing.
No, nobody's gonna be missing.
Nobody's? Oh, well.
I don't think so. I don't know if Ferreira actually got called up. As far as I know, I didn't hear anything along those lines. He could have. I hope not, because at the end of the day, I just don't know how much they're actually going to use him if we're being real. Against Germany, like, are you really going to rely on Jesus Ferreira at the national team level? I wouldn't be opposed to him, just staying and playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, stay here and help us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Get us into playoffs, get us into a higher seed.
Even Greg Berhalter should understand that one. I mean,
yeah, and I know he's got a soft spot for Ferreira, but in all honesty, I just don't.
But
see
I mean, bring
you're
Pepe,
probably not going to play him.
Or bring someone that's not even in
Balogun. There's plenty of options, man. Like they got a list of strikers. Sargent. There's plenty of guys who are on international break. European wise,
they're playing Germany.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're playing Germany. I just don't see Ferreira being an option there. But anyway, we'll see. But in terms of what I think we could do against Colorado, I mean, like you said earlier, Harry, the goal is to start fast. The longer it stays 0-0, the longer that they feel like they're still in the game. So if we could come out, get a first half goal, maybe even two, I think we come out with the exact same lineup that we did against San Jose, which was actually a very attacking heavy lineup. I could actually pull it up really quick. It was
looking
Ferreira
at the
and Obrian
roster,
up top.
You're not missing anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we are. So I think we run the exact same lineup. It ended up being a 4-4-2 that, as we move forward, becomes a 4-2-2-2. But I mean, we started all of our attacking players: Velasco, Ferreira, Obrian, Areola, Iadamendi and Pamacall in the midfield, which to me is the dream. Quignon coming off the bench, not starting. He's had to start a lot this season because Pamacall's been injured for so long. But he's back. Having him and Iadamendi as our two holding mids, and then our normal back line of Farfan, Tafari. Ibeagha's been a revelation. And then we have to start Tumasi because Giovanni Jesus is out for the rest of the year. So
Tsunami.
Tsunami. And actually, he actually looked, he's always been a physical beast, but moving forward, I've been critical of him. Like, to me, he's the equivalent of Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the Premier League. Just sometimes can't find a cross, can't find a long pass, but he's been okay the last few games. So I feel good. We should come out swinging against Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado, we couldn't beat them. Houston took care of them, no problem. So
if I had to make a prediction, I mean, I can still see Colorado maybe nicking a goal, right? Maybe. I still think that we have a pretty decent defense, and so I think we could do our job. But if they do get a goal, I think it'll just be one.
That dub would be super crucial for y'all.
Oh, we win and we're in. Like win and we're probably out of the play-in because I think we have the game in hand, right? So that win puts us at 45, which I believe, I don't know, what is that, 7th? And then if we win the last one against the Galaxy, second to last place, nothing to play for anymore. That puts us at 48, which if Houston don't win that last game, puts us tied with Houston. So I think that there's, it still ended up being a pretty decent season for Dallas, all things considered, losing Ferreira for a month with the Gold Cup, all the injuries that we had all season long, losing Giovanni Jesus, albeit towards the end of the season. I still think this is a pretty decent year. We could probably still finish 6th or 7th.
Are you going to live stream that game?
I was thinking about maybe trying to go if I could. It's just I don't know, man. I got to see if I can actually make it out there. A couple of things have been interesting around here lately, but availability wise. But if I can't and I'm able to stream, then yeah, I will. Otherwise, I'm gonna be locked in like everybody else. I still think that, look, we're playing the two last place teams in the West. I will be shocked if we don't come out and get 6 points.
If you don't.
If we don't,
if you don't and you miss the playoffs, any avenue for coaching change?
No, Nico's here next season. I said that. I think no, there's no reason to change it. I mean, there's so much out of his control for this year. I think I think we had a fairly very quiet transfer windows, right? Despite some of the players that we lost in the offseason. Very quiet transfer windows. Gave him a great veteran in Iadamendi, but it's what, a 1.5-year deal. Everything is revolving around Ferreira.
Still an amazing pickup. I mean, all the personnel that you guys have been bringing in, I mean, you can't knock it.
I want to see us get rid of Areola next season. That's what I want to see happen. I think he, nothing against him. I think for the system we want to run, he just doesn't offer. You know what's crazy? We signed that 28-year-old winger from the Israeli league, I think it was, or the Israeli Pro League, maybe. What's his Ansa, Eugene Ansa. He's been more effective to me on the outside as an attacker than Areola has been. Velasco, even with the games that he's missed, and this has been a very down year for him, has been significally more impactful than Areola. Yeah, the goal against Philly was beautiful. So I don't know, man. I think that we can get some money for Areola. I think he hasn't been terrible for Dallas, but he's been overrated in my book. And I think we can move on from him. So, but Nico's staying put. Yeah, bro, you guys can take Areola.
I'll take him.
He'll be a Rigoni V2.
I would take him.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It could definitely work out.
See how RB's already changed. Hey, instead of getting younger, let's bring in another old, slow veteran.
When there was that rumor Galaxy were gonna go and pay some ridiculous fee to grab him, I wanted that to happen so bad. And it's not even like I hate the guy. A lot of people in my stream think I hate him. I don't hate the guy. I just don't think he does much for us. I don't, man. I don't like watching him play. Dude,
stop the cap.
For 70% of the season, his only goal contribution was negative. It was an own goal against Vancouver. I for the longest time I was like, dude, for what he's being paid, for the captain armband that he wears, I just don't want this man to be represented as elite in my club. I just don't I move him on, stick to the mantra that we have, go find some youth talent that can actually complement Jesus Ferreira. So we're not so reliant on him. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but there's a crazy stat. Dallas this season, and I don't think it's the case with any other team in the league. When Ferreira scores, we win. When he doesn't, we lose. Period. And again, there's
crazy stat.
It's a crazy stat. I guess it's not that straightforward. We haven't won a game where he hasn't scored, right? We've either drawn or something, and we've won every game where he has scored. Could have won more than that, but we've won at least every game where he has scored.
Right.
So the reliance on that one player this offseason, the priority has to be Jesus Jimenez wasn't that guy. I don't believe he's that guy. Even with the injury, I don't care. I don't believe he's that guy. We need to go out and actually get someone to really complement this man. And then I think at that point, we'll have something decent up front.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, man. Anything else on Dallas?
Nah, man. Fighting for a higher seed so that we don't have to play this stupid 1-game playoff that the new format introduces. Even the 3-game, round one is just still kind of weird to me. Watching playoffs this season is going to be wild. I don't know how else to put it. It's just going to be crazy. So I'm excited to tune in, but fingers crossed that Dallas can go from 9th to 6th or something.
We do need to see about what we can do to kind of help promote the playoffs here. Especially with Houston and Dallas and just MLS playoffs in general. I know USL playoffs are starting next week. San Antonio FC, RGV, and El Paso wrap up this week. San Antonio is fighting to keep the second place. They will have a home playoff match, not the 21st, to be determined. El Paso is trying to get in. It could be against El Paso. RGV needs lots of help to get into, but it's that fun type of season where playoffs. I like the playoffs. It would be cool if we had an open system, but we don't. So playoffs is what it is.
But I think we look if that matchup ends up happening, right? San Antonio and El Paso. I think we could probably stream something for that. I think it'd be good.
Well, I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But I mean, RB, we can still stream something for. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe Harry could call in for a second or something. But I don't know. I think that playoff atmospheres, man, are just different. And I think with USL's getting more exciting season over season. MLS is the first time they've ever done this format. It feels like it's Major League Baseball or some shit. I mean, there's just so much.
Yeah, the 2 out of 3. I just.
It's weird. It feels like an NLDS. That's what it feels like. Playoff baseball's happening right now. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But I'll give them credit. They tried the home and home, and it didn't work. To me, because
just trying to mirror it off of Europe. Is that what you mean?
Well, just because the first match, basically, they would just bunker in, and a 0-0 draw or along those lines, and then they played for everything in the second. In the second
I don't know,
half.
man. I kind of like that. It feels like Champions League almost to me.
But that was the big pushback. That's why they didn't do it, is because, let's be honest, American fans want to see action. They want to see goals, and they don't like this. I loved it. I thought it was interesting. And then, why not? To me, you go out, you take advantage of, if they're going to sit back, you go get that big league, and then you can, still press in the second half, and you've got it here. But American fans didn't like it. TV didn't like it. It didn't perform well. And to be honest with you, sometimes it was hard to watch. Just the teams just kind of setting back.
Maybe I think they just wanted more games for more ad revenue.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think it's just like
more money for Apple. Yeah,
let's put more games on the schedule. Apple wins, we win. Everybody's partners are happy, and we just
damn right.
And I'll say this: if this does turn out to be a success, you could see, because it's only the first round. I think, is it the second round or first round? I forget, whatever they're calling, because I know there's the play-in round, then there's the first round.
It's like wild card play-in, round 1.
But the semifinals and final are one game matches. Mm-hmm. If this does turn out to be successful, I bet you could see it expanding to further rounds. Because me personally, I thought it would have been better to have the conference finals be the best 2 out of 3 for me personally than through here. But I know you get more content, especially for Apple and along those lines here to be able to put out there. For that, but
I agree. I think a conference final 2 out of 3, especially when you think about like in the East, like a Columbus versus Cincinnati, best 2 out of 3.
Oh, hell is real. Yeah,
hell will be real. Like Ohio's going to be burning. Like it's going to be crazy. I don't know, man. I think about that, and it's just like that would actually be insane to watch. But either way, maybe they're thinking of it like, hey, this is a cool way to. To vet some of the in all honesty, you're kind of giving some of the lower seeds a chance, right? In a one playoff, one match playoff against a top seed, it's tough. But over the course of 3 games,
2 out of 3, yeah,
2 out of 3, maybe you can nick one here, force a third, and then who knows what happens, right? At that point, you really know your opponent. So it does introduce like an interesting like wild card factor. But a 2 out of 3 conference final would have been everything, I think, for true fans.
And I do think Garber will get that implemented, because I think it'll be a success, and it'll be interesting, especially if you get a couple of game 3s for that here where everything's on the line. Mm-hmm. I think I would hope as somebody that follows MLS that people will tune in for that here. Still a little bit worried about it being on Apple TV primarily, or Fox. I'm not a big Fox guy. I'm sorry. I don't know if you are or not, but I'm just not a big Fox guy. But
yeah, I hear you.
But
I hear you.
You must be a Wolff guy.
I am not a Wolff guy.
Hey, really quick for any Dallas fans that may or may not be tuning in. Bernie Kamungo just subbed into the US U23 match right now, the Olympic team. He just came in and got subbed in. Crazy fucking story. I listened to part of the pod he did with Taylor Twellman about his story, like just being a refugee from Tanzania. Wild, man. The fact that he's even starting, I think, for FC Dallas right now has started matches for FC Dallas is pretty damn dope. But like now playing for the US Olympic team, good for him, man. Good for him.
Hell yeah, dude. Shit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
That's really cool.
Anyway, he just got subbed in. We'll see how they
actually. All right, man. Well, I appreciate the Austin FC segment. We got the Netflix of soccer over there, goals.tv.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on over there, Jose? What's new?
Bro, a lot.
Let me know. Let them know.
I've only said this I think on one other podcast before, earlier this week. So we haven't really like made it public just yet, but I'll make it a little more public now. Goals TV is set to undergo really kind of a major product shift. We're moving on to the next phase of our product, right? So right now it kind of looks very basic, very easy to use, straightforward. We're moving into a new platform that's going to look and feel way more sleek, and on both sides for creators, for users. It's gonna look sexy. I'm actually pumped for it. Gonna be way easier to use as well, way easier to customize your experience. We're hoping to launch that by early November. So we got about 3 to 4 weeks that we're out from that, just kind of fixing the bugs now, getting creators in to test it, and getting other random people to just try it out and give us feedback. So it's been fun so far, a lot of work, but that's what's coming. I haven't made a ton of it public just yet because we're going to tease that announcement as much as we can over the next few weeks. But yeah, man, it's going to allow us to bring a whole lot more content to fans, and we're going to start really trying to make a splash with our messaging and everything that we're doing. So yeah, Goals TV, go check it out. We Netflix of soccer is kind of how I'm coining it. By the end of the day, if you're a true fan of the beautiful game, there's something on there for you. There's something on there for you. So that's 100%. How I would.
Yep. So use code FIRE when you sign up. You get free membership, lifetime membership, right?
Lifetime membership.
You would be supporting Texas Ring of Fire. We would appreciate it so much. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe. If you don't know, we do go live on YouTube. We try to go Wednesdays, man. It's just so hectic. We all got kids. We all got a real life, so it's really hard, but we try. Be here again next Wednesday.
Make sure you upload the Houston. I know you're anti-Houston. That's why you didn't upload last week's episode.
I will.
Come on, RB.
I will.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I would know. I know. My bad. So
I brought out my
56.
Houston fandom for that episode.
No, you're the Houston guy. You're the Houston guy. No, but shout out everyone, man. Shout out everyone in Dallas. Shout out everyone in Houston, and of course everyone here in Austin
and San Antonio.
And San Antonio and Rio Grande and El Paso and who else?
If you live in Texas, what's up, bro? What's up?
What it do? Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Later.
Peace.